Precisely when they got overhead, and he started shooting pow, pow, into the air with his rifle. He started shooting. There were 15 shots in his rifle fired. He shot only 2. 2. One was dead, the other was injured. So when he shot this, he whistled to his dog, and the dog went to fetch the two birds, the two doves, sorry, that was shot. The doves brought the ducks for the farmer, and when that happened, Wish said to his master, Fred, yes? He said, you remember that question that you asked me? Why are you so poor on your bulletin card? He says, yes. He says, no, I have the answer. He says, no, I have the answer. He said, look at the 2 dogs. One is dead and the other is alive. He said, the one that's dead, he thought he had it going and he had everything for him until his death came. He said, the other one that's moving, he said, Satan injured him, but he's still alive and he's trying to get away. He said, the one that's dead, that's you. He said, that's you. Pretty soon you don't know what's coming for you and you think you got it made. That is meekness, not weakness, dear brothers and sisters. Meekness, not weakness. When you read Psalms, chapters 73 to 75, sometimes you wonder, and sometimes I wonder, because I read it all the time. I read them all the time. Sometimes I wonder, is Christianity worth it? Is Christianity worth it? Why? When you see the wicked prospering and Christians are suffering, is Christianity worth it? First, you must get off your high horse. Second, instead of being a superstar, you must now become a servant, not a volunteer. Third, instead of happiness, is pain and suffering. Pain and suffering. Nothing but pain and suffering, dear brothers and sisters. The 4th point is this. Meekness is receiving no future promotions higher than being God's servant. Not ever. Let me say that again. Meekness is receiving no future promotions higher than being God's servant. Not ever. Verse 10 answers the question. It talks about captain. Captain. It says, for it was fitting for him, whom are all things and by whom are all things, in bringing many sons to glory, to make them the captain of their salvation, perfect through suffering. Captain, the Greek word for captain is originator. Originator. Jesus became your originator. He became your leader. He became your captain. Who sat on the throne? He could have only sat there through suffering. He was qualified after he went through what he went through for you and for me. Verse 10, it says that. Revelation 4:10 says, 24 elders, these are the 24 elders. The first thing when they got to Christ, the first thing when they amalgamated around his throne, what they did, they fell down before him, who sat on the throne, and worshipped and cast their crowns before the throne. That is the first thing they did, brothers and sisters. They cast their crowns before the throne. When you wear a crown, you're a king. When you wear a crown, you are a king. When you're not wearing a crown and you are here to the throne, you are a prince. When you come to Christ, the message is 3 things are evident. Number 1, you must worship. Number 2, you must bow. Because why? Christ is worthy. You must bow to him. He deserves your worship. If you're a superstar, you don't bow to a superstar. And the third one is, you have joy. You have joy. Revelation 4:10, it says that they cast their crown and they said, holy and honor and glory. They had joy. They had happiness. But let's go back to the fourth point. It says, meekness is receiving no future promotions. Listen to the acronym for joy. Make sure you write it down. Make sure you write it down. It says, Jesus first, others second, and yourself last. If you are not accustomed to being last, and you are last, be careful. You can't be happy. Because if you are not happy now, are you ever going to be happy when you get there? You have to be happy now. And being relegated to last place won't make you happy. So if you're not happy now, you're not going to be happy when you get to heaven. Joy. Jesus first, others second, yourself last. Powerful stuff. Paul's description in 2 Corinthians 4:8-11 says, we are troubled on every side. You know, brethren, it's very important when we're reading the scriptures, we have to watch the Bible language. Very important. We are troubled on every side, perplexed. What I just don't understand. Now I've become a Christian, it seems as if everything's just falling down on me. I can't understand what's happening. Perplexed. Persecuted, cast down. Does that sound like good times to you? For we who live are always delivered unto death for Jesus' sake, dear brothers and sisters. That's serious stuff. That is very serious stuff. Fifth, meekness destroys the devil's plans. If such is the case, then the opposite of that is also true. Your weakness keeps the devil's plans alive. Think about that. If meekness destroys his plans, then your weakness keeps his plans alive. It keeps him propagating his seeds of discord. Still, in verse 14 it says, he himself likewise shared in the same. What? What did he share? A cross kind of death. A cross kind of death. Jesus was more ready to die than he was ready to live. Think about that. And if you're not ready to live for him, you're not ready to die. You're not ready to die. You're not ready to die, dear brothers and sisters. Are you having a hard time turning your troubles into triumph? Are you tipping God where you should be tithing him? I will get to that in another subject. Or are you desirous of suffering as Jesus did? You and I, when we're about to make that decision, Job 1 chapter 6, Job chapter 1, verse 6 says, Satan walks alongside you and says, but Pearson, what you talking about? You mean all this time that you have worked for this, you're just going to give it away? You got to be kidding. You can't do that. You've worked night and day, 2 jobs for this, all this money in the bank. And now that you have accepted Christ, you're going to give that away? You got to be kidding. 6. Meekness turns hurdles into hope for others and for yourself. Verse 18, it says, 2 Corinthians 12:10 says, therefore, I take pleasure in infirmity. Was Paul out of his mind when he authenticated that statement? What are you talking about? I take pleasure in infirmity. Infirmity is being sick, being ill. All your body is hurting. You can't move. Paul is saying here, I take pleasure. And you're talking about you and me? Jesus died a cross kind of death. infirmities, in reproaches, in necessity. What does that mean? Let me pause here for a while. Necessity means if something needs to be done in the church and you are asked to do it and you put it away for a long time, that's a necessity. And that's dangerous. If Christ, through the power of the Holy Spirit, speaks to the pastor or anyone else and asks of us to do something and we don't do it, that's disobedience. That's